Welcome to the show, everybody. This is TruePowerIsMine, and this is TPIM SR Live. Today, I want to give thanks to God in heaven for allowing us yet another opportunity to come together, brother, and share some truth. Today, we are blessed, I say, to have Brother Ted Hayes from LA. Once again, y'all, this was not scheduled. I literally reached out to Brother Ted about 10 minutes ago. We had a small conversation, but what he has to say is so powerful, y'all. I thought it necessary, and I asked him if he could give us at least 10 minutes, and he said yes. So here's Brother Ted, y'all. You there, Brother Ted?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, sir, I'm here. Thank you very much for reaching out to me at this time. It's very crucial. But yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, could you explain? Well, I asked you a very important question. You know, Brother Ted, have you heard on the streets, or do you know of efforts by the government to quarantine homeless men, women, and children?
Let me say this to y'all, Patrick and everybody. I called the White House about 2 weeks ago about this, because as you know, I've been dealing with the White House now for several months since September, up close with the top staff over there that the president has consigned to address homelessness, period.
Correct. And
I got on the phone with the young man, and I asked him, I said, look, I understand, I read in the media that y'all talking to the leaders of Los Angeles, the mayor and different folks about homeless and the virus. I said, can you tell my staff and I what's going on so we can help out? And they said, don't worry about it. We have it under control. I said, yeah, but how can we help? Well, he said, that's private information. And I said, well, look, we cannot help if you don't tell us what's going on. So I tell you what, then as an activist, I'm going to go ahead and start making my statements. If you get friendly fire from us against the White House, the president, don't take it like we're trying to hurt you, but you're making us work in the blind.
Correct.
And they said, okay, fine. So I remember several months ago when I spoke to a guy by the name of Robert Marbutt Jr. He is the executive director of the United States Interagency Council on the Homeless, which is housed in the White House. And I talked with another young man by the name of Benjamin Hobbs in the White House Domestic Policy Council that's in charge of overseeing the homeless matter under Dr. Ben Carson. And I said to them, gentlemen, things are getting so bad out in LA, particularly among Democrats, liberals, and libertarians, that but this is before the virus. This had to do with homeless people in the streets, rats, disease, cholera, etc., and hysteria and all that. And I said, people are starting to talk about utilizing the National Guard to round folks up and take them outside of town on federal, state, county property to isolate them and protect the community from the public health and safety threat that they pose. And each one of them jumped and they said, who told you that? That's not true. White House has no such plans. Well, where are you getting that from? And I said, gentlemen, I'm not saying the White House is planning this. I'm saying there is a sentiment growing among the people in America to do this. So therefore, we must act quickly, put into measure the ideas I've been giving to you to prevent this from happening. What that told me was I touched a nerve. We think you protest too much. And I think they knew this all along. I really do. I think they knew this all along because they knew. But I knew back 35 years ago when I first came out voluntarily to investigate this mess, I knew then that the cost of living, rental costs, etc., is too high for people who become homeless to get back in.
Yes.
Very, very, very few people recover from it, right?
Right.
And I realized that, and I said, if you do not implement the plan that I'm presenting to you, the National Strategic Plan, the homeless population is going to increase and your public health and safety threat will increase. And I believe they knew that, and I believe they waited until the perfect storm hit like this one, whereby now they can do two things at one time. They can minimize the threat of the disease because the homeless people, we're the biggest carriers. If when it breaks out among us, it's over. Okay. Figure we can stem the flow of the spread. At the same time, rid the neighborhoods of the encampment and the homeless by taking them outside of the city and putting them in these internment camps. Now, I've been questioning everybody. White House, I've been questioning the president, I've sent letters, I sent a press statement last night, which I just emailed to you just now, Patrick. And I've been saying, okay, fine with the quarantine. We understand public health and safety. But once they're there, when and if the virus is declared over, where will these people go when it's time to leave?
Where will
they can't come back to neighborhoods. So they are stuck in internment camps indefinitely. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what you got? You have internment concentration camp. And for us black folks, we are being put right back into slavery.
There it is. There it is, a legal form of it. Because it's for the benefit and wealth of the population as a whole. You are a threat. This is why reparations, this is why economic viability is so critical. So critical.
But before you reparations as such, because most people think reparations is monetary and material. It is not monetary. It is not material. I mean, how much is the soul of your ancestors worth? How much money? $1 trillion? $10, $100 trillion? Nah. This is reparations is more than that, folks. Reparations is about justice. Before you can even apply money, resources, tax relief, anything that we think is reparations, there has got to be justice, because what has happened, not only to all homeless people, but black homeless in particular in this country, is a matter of injustice. We've been here for 401 years in this country suffering under unrequited injustices. The first thing that must happen, as we've been saying to the president for here in LA, he's got to send the Department of Justice here to investigate the corruption, prosecute and jail some people. Once that begins to happen, then we can start talking about the amenities that we need to benefit our lives. But this thing is criminal. It's straight up criminal. They're violating us black folks. They're violating our 1866 14th Amendment civil rights citizenship. That's what this whole thing is about, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. I got a comment from a chatter already. All right. This is from Shamela 3. I have not seen one homeless person in a week. I live in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. So this is not just an LA situation. I'm so thankful that you can come and talk. This is a nationwide crisis because I care about our brothers and sisters out there on the street without shelter. I love you all. If you hear me by some means, I'm praying for you.
Now, Pat, everybody, listen to this now. As you know, whenever there's a crisis or an emergency for white folks, citizens, it's a crisis for black folks. Whenever there's a recession for white folks, it's a depression for black folks. Whenever there's a depression for black folks, we just off the charts. And that's the way life has always been for us in this country. Now, if you notice, when they talk about all this virus stuff, have you heard them talk about the homeless? Not that much.
No.
Have you heard any black leaders, African-American leaders, conservative or liberal, Congressional Black Caucus, have you heard them bring up this concern that you and I talked about this morning?
No, sir. Not one. They're silent.
One.
They're silent.
Ask the question. Okay, even if you do quarantine them all, when will they be released and where will they go? What are your plans, Mr. President?
Well, I can let me just say this. I doubt whether it'll be welcome back into the city streets of San Diego, or not San Diego, but San Francisco. Because I've seen one show and they were joking. They were being so flippant. They were like, well, at least now with this corona, we won't have piles of human feces on our streets, which is a horrible thing to say. It's not about the pile of crap on the street. It's why is it there? That's the real question. It's because this person doesn't have a toilet to do their business in. And then that asks another question. Why do they not have a toilet? Because they don't have the skills to get a decent job. And there's another question. Why do they not have the skills? See how these questions just goes on and on and on? And people are tired of it. That they have given up on homeless people. And that's a shame.
And see, I have presented answers to all those questions years ago. You go to my website, you see I've been talking about this, showing how we can avoid this. Your African-American leaders, even in Congress, who know me, the local leaders in this town who know me, none of them have bothered to call and say, all right, Ted, you was on top of this years ago, brother. Tell us again, what is your answers to resolving these things? How can we come together and work on this? They refuse because they know they were wrong. They know I'm right. And this little black, dark-skinned, nappy-headed, pole, uneducated big figured it out. And they can't stand it. They can't stand it. So they would rather cut off their freaking noses to spite their faces. Instead of coming to the brother and saying, brother, look, man, look, we got to put our differences aside. How do we work together on this? They will not do it. Several of them over here are running for city council, for the board of supervisors. And guess what their theme is? We're going to end homelessness. And every one of them know what I've been promoting for years. And instead of calling and saying, brother, let's work together, they refuse.
Wow. There's another question. Yeah. Sister Kathy asks, I don't know if this is a question, but what happened January 15th?
Asking me what happened January 15th? All I know, Martin Luther King's birthday.
DC, January 15th, 2020, Ted. So you didn't do anything in DC, I take it?
No. I'm sorry. What we were talking about then, folks, was the cashing the promissory note conference and celebration on Capitol Hill. Due to various circumstances, we were not able to pull that off. We rescheduled it for April the 6th, coming up April the 6th. Okay. But not only because of the virus threat, we had to call it off, but I had called it off before the virus threat, and I'm going to tell you why. Several conservative African-American Republican leaders promised me that they were going to help to work this out and make it happen. And they did not come forward. Oh. And so a couple of weeks ago, I sent out a letter lightly chiding them for their incompetence. And so we postponed it. However, Dr. Alveda King called me the next day. And she and I talked for quite a while on the phone. Y'all know Alveda King, right? Martin Luther King's niece, who fights all the going in the country. And we talked for a long time. And she said, look, let's do it online. And I got followers, and I'll give everybody support. So what we're going to do, Patrick, by listening, we're going to go ahead at some point and do our cash and promissory note conference online. And then when we begin to do that, I will let you know so that we can all be there.
Yeah, I totally promote that. I got another question from American Ghetto Tourist. What does Ted think about Governor of California saying 60,000 homeless will get the new Chinese flu shot?
Well, what he's doing, he's setting up the general public to accept it when he finally begins to round up the 60,000 homeless people, taking them to these former military bases and federal land in California. Now, let me show you what Gavin Newsom said the other day. He told the cities of California that they had better get their homeless, this is the term they use now, this is the code word, off the streets. Otherwise, he wanted to sanction the city. And the cities replied, wait a minute, we can't get these folks off the streets. We don't have the resources. So the governor replied, well, what we're going to do then, we have state land. And instead of trying to build shelters in neighborhoods, which we're getting a big blowback from, we're going to skip the NIMBYs in the neighborhoods, and we're going to take them to state property. Question: how are you going to get 60,000 people to voluntarily go outside the city to state property? You're not. What do you got to do? You got to call out a National Guard in the name of public health and safety, round these folks up simultaneously, take them outside the city, and no, there will be no vaccine shots for them people, man. They're going to let them die.
Oh, brother, please say it's not so. Please say that's not so.
How are you going to give vaccine shots to a bunch of worthless, no good failures in society when you got hard-working people, law-abiding citizens can't get their shot?
Oh, brother, that's so true. That is so unfortunately true.
They're already fussing about athletes and celebrities jumping the line, getting their shots. And they say, hey, that ain't right. So how in the world are you going to put homeless people in front of everybody? You know?
That's wrong.
I laugh. It's funny. I laugh because it's sad. Otherwise, I'd cry.
This is
people. Let me tell y'all. When I was a younger man, back in the 70s, y'all were little babies. Some of you weren't even born yet. I went to a college out there called Lycoming College in Pennsylvania, on the center of Pennsylvania, in Williamsport, the home of Little League Baseball. And I went to I took an off-campus class in Black history at the time. Black history was the talk of the town in those days, coming out of the 60s. And so I went, you know, paid my little dues, went in and learned. And it was a white professor. 30 of us was in the class. I was the only black person in class. All the black students decided they weren't going to take Black history, right?
Right.
So I'm there, and we're listening, and we're talking, and we're going over. And so at the end of the class, he said, now, I want y'all to know something, what's going to happen to black people. I'm the only black in the room. He said, black people have only been actually free in this country twice. He said, right after slavery, y'all was free. And then he said, and then you fell under black codes and Jim Crow laws. Then he said, 1964, you were set free from all legal legislation making slaves. Then he put up a question mark about the future. And so I raised my hand and said, sir, why you got a question mark about our future? He said, because I don't think y'all got a future of freedom in this country. I said, what you mean? Well, you're going to be slaves again. I said, how's that possible? You talking about economic slaves? He said, nope. You talking ball and chain, whips on our back slavery? He said, yep. That's where y'all headed. I was rocked. And so I thought about that over the years. And when I came out of California and mixed in with the homeless to resolve it, and I saw the predominance of the homeless were black folks, it hit me then. Okay, I see now how we're going to be put back into slavery. Why do you think that all this hip hop music get off hand out here and all this entertainment, all this violence and drugs? Why? To give an excuse to get rid of us. Yes. We are a lost people. Why do you think celebrity conservatives and Republicans and liberals don't work with black folks? The moment they make money, they move out the hood. You don't hear all these wealthy, elite black leaders and celebrities working together to help our people better themselves. You don't hear them talk about reparations and justice for us. You see them all having award ceremonies, the NAACP award, the Black this award, the Black that award for entertainment, while the rest of us out here homeless and suffering.
Correct.
Headed for the concentration camps. They done gave up on us. And so the white man says, well, doggone it, if your own black leaders, conservative and liberal and elites don't care about y'all niggas, excuse my language, we don't care about you either. Why should we care about you? We gotta care about our own. We ain't being racist. We just got to care about our own. Look at the issue with this whole illegal immigration invasion of our country. You don't hear no African-American leadership speaking up about that. Yet they're coming in here in the name of our civil rights. Yes. On our back. This country, this nation of immigrants, this nation of immigrants is built on the back of chattel slaves.
That's 100.
And because we don't say nothing about it, they just run away with it. That's why we're going to do this conference. Because, see, y'all, black folks, look, let me tell y'all something. We are right in our castigation criticism of America. We are right to fight back. But our fighting is in vain. We're losing. Why? Because we've been throwing spitballs and sticks and rocks, so to speak, and we don't have a weapon. Yet, certain white people called Republicans in 1866 and 68, they gave us a weapon called the 14th Amendment. We've never really accessed it. One, because we couldn't read. 99% of us could not read back then in 1866 and 68. But now we can read. And so what we want to do is educate you about the weapon, your AK 14th Amendment, show you how to use it, then you can fight your battles and you'll win. All my letters, when I start out speaking to the president or anybody else, I always identify myself as my badge. I say, I am a 1866 14th Amendment Act civil rights citizen, super citizen, federal citizen. Therefore, I say this to you. That's how I always open up my conversations anymore these days. You gotta know that. If you don't know that, That's like the key to the house. That's like your passport. That's like your authority. When a police officer plain clothes will walk up on you and say, I want to talk to you, first thing they do is they show you what? Their badge.
Yes. That's their authority.
Your authority. And see, we black folks, we are the most powerful people as a collective body in this country. We're more powerful than our Jewish brothers and sisters when it comes to the Constitution of the United States. Why? Not because we black people, but because of the way in which these immigrants went to Africa, purchased us as slaves, and brought us to this country and built this nation of immigrants on our backs. Yes. They recognized the wrong of their doing, that it would have generational devastations upon us. Therefore, they gave us this power that one day when we learn to read and comprehend that which we read, we will not only save ourselves, but will also save the Union Republic. That is the hope. That is who we are, black people.
Like I said on the show yesterday, we are bound to this nation as this nation's bound to us. If this nation does not bring forth justice and a peace to the past strife, both we and this nation will be destroyed.
That's right. And it's up to us, my brothers and sisters. It's up to us. Everyone I share this with about our power, young black men and women here in the LA area, and I'm working with the ADOS community over here as well, and I'm educating and teaching them, and they're putting together a letter to the president on my behalf. And when I share it with them, their minds, you can see their minds change. They go, what? You got that kind of power? Yes, you got that kind of power. Yes. Collectively, we can actually, according to law, we can actually tell the president of the United States what he can, should, must do on our behalf. No other people can talk to him like that but us. And if y'all been paying attention, Donald Trump said in the beginning of his campaign, the 14th Amendment belongs to black people. It does not belong to anchor babies. That is men and women who come over here and have a baby in the United States border, and they call it baby citizen based on the 14th Amendment. Right. Trump said that is not belong to black folks. And that's what got him in trouble, by the way, y'all. That's why they hate Trump. They don't hate Trump because he was been a philanderer and an egotist and bombastic. They hate Trump because Trump said the 14th Amendment belonged to black citizens. Trump said, I'm going to illegal immigration because it hurts black people more than anybody else. Trump said, I want to be Abraham Lincoln. I want to finish what Abraham Lincoln started. That's why they hate Trump.
And you see the consequences of their hate. We're still in a very dreadful position. Even after the Messiah Obama came through that did absolutely nothing for us, unless you're a gay African American, did quite literally nothing for you. We're at a point to where either we're going to turn to the righteous principle of God and the universe, or we're going to continue down this culture of death and oppression. But that choice is yours and mine.
Therefore, I would say to you all, when you get a chance, go to my website, the 14th, that's THE, digit number 1, digit number 4, TH.US, the 14th.US, and you'll see the teaching in the videos on the 14th Amendment. You can also go to my YouTube channel. It's called ADOS-ADOCS, ADOS, the 14th Amendment Promissory Note. And you'll see all my material there as well. And study that. Empower yourselves, y'all. We are the most significant and most important people in this country. Why? Again, not because we're black. We happen to be black, okay? But because of our experience in this country, we were brought here against our will. Everybody else, Jews, Armenians, Mexicans, whoever you are, Africans from Uganda, wherever you're from, they came to this country willingly.
Yes.
Get it now. Came willingly. We did not come here willingly. They brought us unwillingly here in this country and built this nation of immigrants. In fact, if it weren't for the United States, Israel would not stand. If it weren't for the United States, there'd be no China. There'd be no England and all of these other highly technological advanced countries. If it wasn't for the United States, there'd be no satellites going outside of the solar system or putting robots on Mars. Okay? But if it wasn't for chattel slavery, there'd be no United States.
Correct.
You hear me? If it wasn't for chattel slavery, there would be no United States of America. That's why Brother Patrick said a minute ago, y'all heard him clear. Now listen to him again. He said that United States and black folks, we are intricately intertwined.
Correct. We are bound.
If we die, nation dies. If the nation dies, we die. That's why we are the saviors. We are the Jews of America, as it were. I say, quote unquote, Jews of America. Without us, there is no America. It's up to us to save this nation.
Yes.
We are the Joseph of Africa. Y'all know the story of Joseph, don't you?
Correct.
How Joseph's brother sold him out into slavery.
Because he had on a rainbow jacket. Yeah. He had a colorful jacket and they were jealous.
Yep. And he went down to the dungeons of Egypt. And by God's power, he was delivered from the dungeon to rise up to become regent Pharaoh. And he saved Egypt and his family. And so the Africans and the African diaspora, they're all waiting for us, the Joseph, to rise up and take our power in the most powerful nation the world has ever known. That makes us the most powerful people the world has ever known. If we can learn to understand our 14th Amendment, 1866 Civil Rights Act. We learn that, folks, we can do anything we want within reason. We can get reparations, whatever you define reparations to be. We can bring justice. We can get all of our brothers who are locked up out of prison. Because when they come out, they won't repeat. Why? Because they'll have a new sense of their life, a new sense of worth. The reason why people act up and do drugs and alcohol and crime, because they don't have a self-sense of worth.
Correct.
But when you instill within people this power of your identity in the most powerful country in the world by law, the 14th Amendment, the Civil Rights Act of 1866, this is law, supreme law. You suddenly realize, man, I'm not going to waste my life. I'm going to do whatever I can to advance myself through this law.
Yes. You got hope. You have the fire back in your belly. You have a purpose. If you live life without purpose, you become nothing.
Hey, Patrick, what does the scripture say, y'all? Without a vision, what? The people perish. Without a vision, the people perish. You know, word in Hebrew, perish, it means a slow, languishing death. Look at us. Look at us. A slow, languishing death is what we've been going through because we don't have a vision.
We don't.
Now, King said, I have a dream. He had a wonderful dream. Then before he died, the night before he passed on, he said, I have been to the mountaintop. I have seen. In other words, a vision and a dream are two different things.
Correct.
A dream is, a wistful kind of a thing. Well, the dream is, I see it. I see a mountain that looks like a real tiny little thing way across the desert. But as I walk closer and closer and closer towards that mountain gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's vision. And now it's time for us, my brothers and sisters, because we are at the very bottom. I don't think we can go too much further down. Now is the time for us to rise up and get this vision. King said, I will not get there with you. I may not, but I believe that we will all someday get to the promised land. Here is our opportunity. Sometimes it takes darkness. It takes all this hardship, the threat of us going into a concentration camp because we're homeless. That's the thing that just might wake us up.
You know, to add to that, in order to participate in a dream, you have to be in what conscious state? Sleep. In order to see a vision, you have to be awake.
Awake.
It's time to awaken, sleepers. It's time to awaken to your power, to your destiny, to this fate, and to this nation, which is your nation.
Hey, folks, your host, Patrick Weaver, is wise beyond his age. So you pay attention to him. Young brother is teaching y'all right. You pay attention to what Patrick is telling you. Because he says very wise things to be so young.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate. I sincerely do, because I recognize, Ted, that you are sharing with us the most precious thing we have, and that is time. You know, this was not scheduled, folks. It was as if God himself ordained this show today, because this information needs to be heard. Brothers and sisters need to be aware we have a promissory note.
Teach, my brother.
It's time.
Just got to cash that money.
Cash it in.
Go to Washington, D.C., to the Bank of Justice, and you cash the promissory note. You know, if you go to the bank, right? You go to the bank, you go up to the bank teller and say, look, my name is Patrick Weaver. And they say, yes, Mr. Weaver, how can we help you today? I want my money.
Mm.
Okay. You want your money? And they look up there, yeah, your money's here. Can you show us some ID, please? Nah, man, I'm Patrick Weaver. I'm black. You gonna give me my money or y'all racist? Give me my money. No, Mr. Sir, not because you black, we're not giving you money. We recognize you black and all that. We recognize here is Patrick Weaver's account. He has money in the account. But Mr. Weaver, you have to show us some ID because, you know, you may not be who you say you are.
Mm.
You see, and so Dr. King said, now, when you're at the Bank of Justice, just reach in your back pocket, fill out your promissory note, has your ID on that thing, and you give it to the teller, and the teller will say to you, oh, Mr. Weaver, yes, sir. And how would you like your money? What kind of increment, sir, would you like to receive your money? I want it. Okay? But if you see, black people, we haven't. We already have reparations. It's in the Bank of Justice.
Mm.
But see, we have been hollering, give me my reparations, and the bank president says, show me some ID. And you got your reparations.
Mm.
When you go to the airport or go on a cruise ship, what's the first thing they ask you for?
Your ID?
Your ID.
That is so
Who
true.
are you?
Right.
You can tell me all you want who you are. You can shout all you want to.
Mm.
You can burn the building down if you want to.
It's insured. It's insured. And see, this is the beautiful thing. Once we get this knowledge upon the whole group, or at least the majority of the group, that's when we can be a force to be reckoned with, because we will have something that backs us other than a bunch of hot air and sweet talk.
That's right. Dr. Martin Luther King said the night before he passed on April the 3rd, he was killed on April the 4th. He said, white folks, we ain't mad at y'all. All we're asking y'all to do is live up to the words, the laws that y'all wrote about us. But see, the man cannot live up to the laws that he wrote about us unless we know the law ourselves.
Correct.
That's why, once again, the scripture said, for a lack of what?
Knowledge.
My people are destroyed.
That is
a
true.
lack of knowledge.
That
Simple
is
as that. And we walk around here hollering, I'm broke, I'm poor, I'm oppressed, I'm this, I'm that. Look in your back pocket, pull out your wallet, and look at that identification you got. That is your key to ending your poverty. That is your key to getting your reparations, whatever you define to be. That is your key to getting the justice you want from the president or from the mayor, from the governor, or from the police department. That is your key. That's why when you do business with the government and with all these entities, the first thing you do, you identify yourself, Mr. Mayor. This is Ted Hayes, sir, and I come to you in the name of my 1866 14th Amendment Civil Rights Act citizenship, and this is what I'm presenting to you today. Then you go ahead and do your business.
right.
They can't deny that. They cannot deny that. Because all they got to do is open up the book of the Constitution and see you sitting right there looking dead at them. They have to comply with you. And see, they'll be, when you do that, they'll be hit with shock that you are so in depth in your understanding of who you are and who they are, that they'll have no comeback other than, what would you like for us to do? In what increments would you like your cash in, sir?
Wow. You know, just like this.
They can't argue with that. These are laws they wrote. We didn't write these laws. They wrote these laws.
Correct. You know, it's like this, folks. Who respects a king who does not realize he's a king? He instead lies with the pigs in the stable, where the traitor who knows he's not the king lies, but he sleeps in the palace. Let's get out of the stable, y'all, and let's get these bullshit so-called leaders out of the palace, and let's put them in the pig stable. That's what needs to happen.
See, there go Patrick again. He makes a perfect analogy to the pauper and the prince kind of thing. He hit it right on the head. Here we are, the real king out in the freaking stable with the animals.
Literally. You know,
but not at the line, Chief. Ain't his fault. It's our fault.
Because the truth is there, Ted. You know, brothers
Yeah,
and sisters, you know, who are on your wavelength, they're out here in the streets with small voices trying to tell this to whoever. But there's so many clowns and so many entertainers with huge megaphones that overshouts us, overshout the people trying to send out the truth and positive vibration, a liberation. Because ultimately, what we're talking about personal spiritual liberation. I hate to tell you this, Yao. You cannot serve or worship any God in a state of desperation. You have to be in a state of peace to be able to send up the proper prayers. And if you don't happen to pray, you happen to be an atheist, well, then I guess I can put it for you like this. You will never see joy or true peace until you come to the place to where you should be.
That's right. Right.
You know.
So look here, man, to get rolling, y'all. But look, Patrick, I sent you the press release that sent out last night. Send that to your folks. You get them to take a look at that because there's a lot of teaching in it that they need to understand. They'll explain this whole homeless virus crisis that's going on and what we must do about it. Okay. And if you want to talk head on next week or something, brother, I'm here for you, Patrick. Anytime you want to talk, I love giving out information to our people.
Man, I appreciate you, Ted. I really do. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. And tell your big brother I said, hey, when you talk to him again.
I will most certainly
do
that.
Let me say something about Mason Weaver. I've known Mason years ago. Mason, I go back a long time. Back when he used to live in San Diego. And we've talked and worked together on things. I want to say Mason Weaver was one of the gentlemen, I read his books, one of the guys who educated me on the real identity of the Democratic and Republican parties.
Mm-hmm.
He and Wayne Perryman and a few other brothers and sisters like that, things that I did not know. I did not realize that the Democrats are the ones who held us in slavery. I did not realize that I knew Abraham Lincoln was Republican, but I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know it was the Republican Party who wrote the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment and who fought to get us out of slavery. A lot of things I did not know. So Patrick's big brother, Mason Weaver, I think he and Tim Perman, all those guys, I think one reason why the Democrats pushed Barack Obama to run for president before Barack Obama was ready. If y'all remember, Mr. Obama said after he made senator, they asked him, are you going to run for president? Mr. Obama said, no, I am not qualified. I've got a lot to learn yet as a senator, so what does it look like I should run for president? So as Mason Weaver was getting more popular, he and the other brothers and sisters about exposing the truth of the Democratic Party, the Democrats, this is my theory now, the Democrats realized, white folks realized, we're going to have to shut these Negroes down.
Yep.
Because we've been awakening black folks up. And if we don't shut them down, you know how black folks are, you got to do is say black power or stick somebody up there that look like them, they're going to go for it. And so what they did was they talked Barack Obama into running for president, and they were right, because as soon as those white folks in Iowa said that he was cool, and the white folks in New Hampshire said that he was cool, that's when black folks said, okay, if the white man say he cool, then he cool. And we fell in love with Barack Obama, and it's been very difficult getting off his hook. But what I'm hearing around the country, black folks are finally starting to wake up and realize this was the greatest curse upon us since slavery itself, Barack Obama being our president.
So, like I said, unless he was a homosexual. Unless you're homosexual, he was great.
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff. Illegal aliens, all that stuff, man. You know, but Mason Weaver, one of the brothers, I believe, that the Democrats was reacting to, because Mason and these cats was educating us about the truth of the Democratic Party. So I just want to get a shout out to you, okay?
Right. And what he's talking about, folks, was when Mason wrote a book called It's Okay to Leave the Plantation. In this book, broke down all the history of the Democratic and Republican Party. And it was written in such a way that it wasn't telling you to look at it this way. It allowed you to use your own critical thinking skills to connect the dots.
Yep.
Know the truth for yourself.
Get that book. Go out and get that book. It's okay to leave the plantation. it'll make your hair stand up. As kinky as it is, that stuff will stand right up. That's how woolly hair grow. They grow. Let it show.
Wow.
Hey, Patrick, it's always a joy to hear from you, brother.
It is that. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today.
Absolutely. Blessings, y'all. See you in the future.
See ya. All righty, y'all. That was Brother Ted Hayes from LA giving us the homeless update. I've been telling you for years, the plan is to get you on trains. And what better way to incinerate you? Oh, they're all corona victims. But they're all black, sir. It doesn't matter. Please wake up. Not for my sake. My fate is my fate. But for your sake and the sake of your bloodlines. You are a great people. This could be a nation upon the hill. But it takes you getting educated to the truth and getting energized to put in true work. I'd like to take this time to thank all the chatters in the chat room, all the brothers and sisters in the comments. I want to thank all the people who have supported the show through Patreon, through the Cash App. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this will conclude TPIM SR Live for today. Today's date, March 13th or 19th, 2020, the year of our Lord. As always, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. Brothers and sisters, please, 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 let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace and power, unity and victory, dignity and respect, liberation. I'm out.